What is up, guys? Near and Zebec. The world ends in 2 years. Are you prepared or left behind? And shout out to the Patreon crew. We were talking about this in the open mic night, and we're not going to get that deep into it today, but we're going to touch on some of those topics today. But first, cue my guy Indigo Saint. Let's get it. Boom. Let's get it. Indigo Saint in the building. Blackrue Investing. Let's go.
Who's this producer?
Best believe it was Blackrue Investing. With your money, you ain't gotta be guessing. Profits is what we manifesting, so we binge on that Blackrue Investing. Best believe it was Blackrue Investing. That course in this race, we ain't resting. We got stocks, we got crypto with a blessing. So thank God for that Blackrue Investing. Best believe it was Blackrue Investing.
What is up, guys? Happy Memorial Day. Thank all our troops for their service. I hope everyone's doing well today. I see some of our regulars in the crowd here. What's up, King David Barron? What's up, Silver Days? What's up, King Pound One? What's up, Philly Love? Let's get into this here. Let me share my screen. And right away, we're going to get straight into it here with the NeoBot. Okay, so this will show you exactly what I mean about the world is changing as we know it in 2 years. Well, we got these NeoBots available now for only $20K. $500 a month if you can't afford the $20K. They're 5'6", 66 pounds, and can lift 45 pounds. We're gonna play a bit of what they can do. I'm not going to play the audio because it has copyrighted music, but you can see here. I'm going to go ahead and put on my headphones, make sure it's not playing. You can see here, though, tidy up the room, organize the entryway, clean the bedroom. These things even clean bathrooms. I think that it's going to show you that here pretty soon here. We went deep into this. Laundry, even does laundry. Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry about that. I wasn't sharing the right tab. Let's go back. So, yep, organize your entryway. Clean your bedroom. Does laundry. Empties the dishwasher. And like I said before, before I was sharing the tab, I think it even does bathrooms. Tidy the dining room. Clean the bathroom. There we go. I put the toilet seat down. And the thing even goes and charges itself. Okay, so what's going to happen here for anyone that does kind of blue collar work, like for a maid, for a nanny, right? These things can't watch kids, but that's one of the use cases that they want for it, right? They want it to eventually be able to watch kids. And it can take your trash to the trash can. It can take your dirty dish to the dish, washer. And here we have a company called Miso, in which they're doing AI-powered, data-driven, like chef work. They have a big chef arm, and they're able to kind of automate cooking and, automate the frying. Okay. So that along with agentic AI, which I got some agentic AI stats that'll blow your mind. We went over these in the Patreon like 2 weeks ago. So we won't get as deep into it as we did on the Patreon. Shout out to the Patreon. You guys make this channel work, of course. But here we are. Agents are becoming a new class of internet user, company worker, and buyer, and economic actor. Cloudflare expects AI bot traffic to surpass human traffic by 2027. So 2027 is literally like six months and some days away, right? So they're expecting AI bot traffic to surpass human traffic in less than a year, 6 months and change away. Slack expects agents to outnumber humans on its platform within 2 years. Microsoft sees users shifting beyond humans. Jensen Huang has described NVIDIA operating with 7.5 million agents for 7K employees, okay? NVIDIA is important to note because remember that Near is partnered with NVIDIA, right? I showed you guys the whole thing where they had the CEO of Near and the CEO of NVIDIA kind of handshaking, right? I'll bring that back up for you, show it to you here. So this was from a couple years ago, but then also here we have Near and NVIDIA actually having a partnership, which I'll bring up for you as well. Near AI joins NVIDIA Inception program to accelerate enterprise-grade verifiable AI. So when we talk about X402 and AI, agentic AI, we also know that Ilya Pushkin, I'm probably saying his name wrong, the CEO of Near, helped with X402. So they're deeply embedded with X402 and this agentic AI economy. And shout out to the patrons. We've been talking about Near since $1.17. And looky today, it's at $2.73. So we're well over a 2x here. And it just continues to rise. We'll hear some comments from Arthur Hayes here in a second coming up here. But this agentic AI economy is definitely going to plug into the robotic economy. So we got deep into that on the Patreon. Definitely come over to the Patreon, less than a cup of coffee, where I'm telling you guys some of the plays I'm looking at when it's concerning agentic AI, when it's concerning robotics, both in the stock market and the crypto market. But needless to say here, I can show you train bots on Solana with Solana Robotics and Claude Devs. Claude is written in Go in a standalone binary, allowing you to spin up NVIDIA Robotics Nemo Claude shell and use your Asimov Inc. to your perps hardware to a Tamagotchi, and it all runs on X402 rails, right? And definitely come over to the Patreon where we got into more things, more projects that we're looking at connecting X402 and robotics. But you can tell just from this notice here, X402 and robotics are connected via Solana right now. They are connected via Solana right now. So if this is what they're telling us here, right? And I'll show you the graph of this information we just saw here. If this is what they're telling us, that in less than 6 months and change, that there are going to be so many AI bots that they surpass human traffic. And then they're going to get these robots ready so they can start replacing nannies and cooks and the like, right? The world as we know it in 2 years is going to be vastly different than it is right now. We've already seen all of these layoffs due to agentic AI, where they're chipping away, doing it 1,000 at a time, 1,000 at a time, and 1,000 at a time. So it's at the point, you can't not afford to invest at this point. You really can't, because either AI is going to take your job or robots going to take your job. like in all seriousness, at some point here, right? So can you just not? You can't afford to not invest in this market at this point. Shout out! I see my guy Underdog Research Channel in the comments here. Appreciate you, brother. So let's get into some of Arthur Hayes's comments here on where he sees NEAR going. So here's a post from him where he says, "We got a long way to go. Pack your bags for the moon." But the moon, he says here. And this is him along with the NEAR CEO here. So Crypto Hayes and Black Dragon here on the roll up. And we're going to start at a certain point of the interview. Intense enables economic swaps. We'll go on from there. You can also see here, just from the timestamps, Arthur Hayes believes that NEAR has a 20x in it. Okay, but let's listen to Arthur Hayes here and see what he has to say.
And then it's like, okay, within the zone.
Hold on, for some reason I can't hear him.
Wow, I can now send no asset I want to anyone.
Okay, that's weird. We might have to refresh this then, because I can't hear him. Okay, see, and I had it prepared. We'll let it figure itself out here. Or not. Let's refresh one more time here. Oh, technology, I swear.
Now I'm into, USDT on Tron, and I've sent it to whoever I'm going to send it to in an anonymous fashion. That's huge. And they looked at the price of NEAR. It's down a lot off of its all-time high, just like everything else in crypto. Everything goes through cycles, and I thought, well, okay, I think this privacy narrative is going to be a thing. Obviously, Zcash is the first place.
Okay, let's go back a little bit.
The second is, if you're enabling people to essentially cash, and off of the the Mori bound $30 Zcash. One of the big things back in 2016 was, great, we have the Zcash thing, it works, but nobody can hold it in the shielded form. Everyone's using transparent Zcash, which is just a shitty version of Bitcoin, right? So like, what are we doing here? And with the popularity of Zashi, now Zodal, where I can hold shielded Zcash on a nice app. If you pair that with a Keystone cold signer, now you can have the ability to have a cold storage for your shielded Zcash. And I absolutely recommend anyone who holds Zcash to hold it in the shielded format. Otherwise, why are you fucking holding it in the first place? And so, okay, great. This is a great user experience. Maelstrom, the fund, we invested in around Zodal when they, moved house. And then it's like, okay, within the Zodal app, I can now send any crypto asset I want to anyone across the internet in an anonymous way. From shielded Zcash, using NEAR intents. Now I'm into, USDT on Tron, and I've sent it to whoever I'm going to send it to in an anonymous fashion. That's huge. And they looked at the price of NEAR. It's down a lot off of its all-time high, just like everything else in crypto. Everything goes through cycles, and I thought, well, okay, I think this privacy narrative is going to be a thing. Obviously, Zcash is the first place you're going to go. The second is, if you're enabling people to essentially send a value anonymously using the blockchain at any chain, that's huge as well. And the economics will catch up with NEAR, and this is a great asymmetric opportunity. Now, obviously, I didn't scale the near position as large as Zcash, but I think near has a 20x potential where, Zcash might have a 5x potential over the next year, something like that. So you scale the capital that you allocate accordingly, to the risk, and that's why I think these two assets form the core of my privacy thesis on how, we at Mailchimp are going to profit from the realization that privacy matters in this AI, big tech, big government universe that we live in.
Yeah, and it feels increasingly important as AI continues to, just leach our data. We're willingly giving it over. This is why we're starting to see a greater shift into privacy as the AI overlords are just continuing to, to suck it out of us. And so, Ilya, as you're coming to understand, how Arthurs and capital allocators are thinking about near, obviously there's a big AI story here, in terms of identity and rails and all these things that agents ultimately need. But intents is the thing that has unlocked the value from the Zcash ecosystem, and it's very, very central to make this money productive, right? And so, I've got some stats here. Near Intents is nearing $20 billion of volume, or yeah, $20 billion all-time of volume, $18.9 billion. You guys have generated $33 million of fees off of this volume through Near Intents. A lot of this has been Zcash because it's kind of the only place to do this. One of the things that Arthur had mentioned in this bottom paragraph here that alludes to the next piece is that confidential intents will create a positive cash flow situation for the protocol. Can you just talk us through how you foresee intents, sort of how you plan on monetizing it? What is the current cash flow situation at Near, and generally how we plan on scaling Near Intents to better the entire Near ecosystem?
Yeah, for sure. I think the thesis Arthur outlined, which is, we need privacy on chain. And I would actually double down on that. If we want blockchain to be used in day to day, without privacy, that's not going to happen, right? Actually, privacy is the mass adoption enabler, right? If I'm paying for coffee in the coffee shop, I don't want the coffee shop to know how much money I have. And I don't want everyone else in the world know I just paid in this coffee shop, right? I don't want the next time I'm paying there, there's somebody waiting for me there, right? So if we wanted to do, somebody was just actually tweeting about somebody's EtherFi, somebody's credit card transaction, it's literally on chain. Everybody's talking about it on Twitter. This is just insane, right? So privacy is effectively the enabler for the adoption of crypto, stable coins, and other assets as money in day-to-day in actual transactions. Again, if you're doing investments, I have 100 addresses for each investment that one when I send money, one when I receive money. Each of them are segregated. I have spreadsheets. It's just insane, right? You don't do that in the normal world. And so what confidential intents is really our approach to not just, Zcash offers obviously a sovereign, government resistant private asset, which is amazing, and really need this. What we wanted to bring is actually how do you transfer, trade, pay, earn, and do everything else confidentially and with all the assets that we support, right? 150 plus assets. And so confidential intent is effectively a private shard on top of Near that internally you can come into this private shard, you can transact there, and nobody's able to effectively access what's happening there. It doesn't require to have user kind of client-side cryptography, so all of the cryptography happens inside. And so it's lightweight, it's programmable, right? You can write smart contracts and deploy into this. And so it allows us to, already we have trading, transfers, so you can do payments. Because again, I think this is the execution layer for this privacy thesis that really allows to kind of this to go broad and really become accessible. Again, the types of things, payroll, nobody uses crypto for payroll because everybody will see how much everybody's paid, right? That, it's a very basic, invoices, all of the different use cases that we all talked about that crypto should do, they were effectively not really possible when everything is transparent. And so that's really exciting and kind of really enables for us to ramp up volume, ramp up transactions, and indeed we're taking a fee from every single transaction and buying back near. And so that that economics is pretty straightforward, and the goal is to continue doing that, as well as across the ecosystem. We've reduced our inflation. We halved inflation effectively last November. We're fully diluted, and I would continue pushing community to try to reduce inflation further, as we actually getting more and more revenue in the ecosystem, so we actually kind of balance the book, right, and really start become deflationary, start become kind of economically sustainable and
I think
profitable.
also to further on Ilya's point, like the fully diluted pieces, I think is super important if you want to talk about an L1 that can really perform well in an up market. There's lots of L1s that do all sorts of fancy shit, but like there's a fucking big ass bag of VC donkey doo doo above your head that's just waiting to shit on you. It's you want the clear water runway to run, and Near has that by just the virtue of just being around for long enough to clear that. So it's a great asset to have that blue sky in front of you. Like there's nobody in front of me dumping donkey doo doo on my head.
Yeah, everybody who wanted to dump already did. So
Yeah. It's been what, like
Few
8
times.
years?
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
it's one of the few fully diluted tokens that's out there, especially one of the only L1s that's out there. And so it's already got $30+ million of cash flow. This is one of the main revenue drivers. Ilya, how will Intense, maybe you can just speak to the rest of the AI functionality that Near has, Near AI, Iron Claw. There's several products that you guys have now. What is maybe the most exciting of the product suite, and how you see this fitting together with Confidential Intense? And if you can speak to the revenue potential of some of the rest of these products, and ultimately how they can also help to affect the general situation at Near that we're talking
I'm
about.
going to continue letting you.
yeah, so the high level thesis is, in the future, we're gonna use computing with AI, and the blockchain is how everything will get executed, right? And so that's why we're doing these two parts in parallel and really tying them together. And so AI, same thing. You want AI to be private. You don't want effectively, labs to harvest your data. Like right now, they're effectively harvesting everybody's data so that they can train better model, and they, somewhat subsidizing it with subscriptions. And so you really kind of want to prevent that. You want to give more context to these models. You want to give them more access. Again, if it's something that is run by a third party who you have no idea what they can do with your access, like you give them your credit, like your crypto account or your bank account, now they can be harvesting that data as well, or even like send a transaction on your behalf, you wouldn't know. Like all of that you want to prevent. And so that's what we're doing on the AI side, is creating privacy and security focused kind of agentic experience. A lot of it, if not everything, will be done by your agent, right? You effectively will delegate to it. If you trust it, if you give it all the context, you'll be able to delegate everything from daily shopping to, positioning you with like a hyper liquid, hedge, spot position, add some prediction markets to top it off, right? Like you will say like, hey, I want to take this position, I think tomorrow something will happen, create me this thing, and like go and find all the right assets and right combination, and create that position.
And what he's talking about right there is exactly why I'm excited for what's going to happen with Zebec and agentic AI, where these companies are going to let the agentic AI for in some part run their treasury. But let's continue.
Right now, manually, this is going to be insane, right? I have this example actually with Iron Claw right now. You can drop your address, like your crypto address, and it'll analyze all your assets and positions and suggest better earn opportunity, right? Better yield, like how to position across different protocols. But you can imagine that being like a lot more scaled up from there. And so that's where like these two pieces really work together. AI, think of it as like your new computing interface, and Intense is the commerce layer behind it, right? Again, not just for regular payments, but also supply chain work, goods, right? All of this will be flying through, because like it's so much better approach to finding, negotiating, and settling deals than your traditional, emails and invoices and billing that operates right now. So those are two pieces that work together, and we have like a very specific example we call agent marketplace, where agents can actually hire other agents to do work or to deliver goods. And so that's kind of the glimpse of this future. It's still early, but we have like first actual like real world businesses using this, where effectively you can hire an agent to source you some components for your supply chain, or you can hire an agent to build you a marketing website, or you can hire an agent that will build a application, or you can hire an agent that will write investment copy, and that agent runs on our verifiable compute, meaning what it's doing, right? You can inspect what happened. It runs on our secure infrastructure, so you can give it access to some of your contexts, right? Like one of the reasons why we hire people into the company is because we actually need to give them access, and historically it's been hard to give access to third parties. Well, with agents who run on verifiable and secure compute, you can actually give them access to get all the information from your company. And so what I'm describing here is really changing how labor and supply chains work. And so our target market here is really all of the labor and supply chain total market, like running on intents.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the AI and the intents crossover, right? With the agents using intents to transfer value, people wanting to actually use confidential intents to, use their Zcash or transfer that value. And so there's kind of like, while people may argue like Near has a fragmented approach, you can kind of see that from the beginning. I think one can infer that you've had this vision for quite a while, right? And I think it's important to kind of establish that.
Yeah, I mean, well, when we started in 2017, the thesis was that AI will be how we build software, how we interface with computing. That was 2017, and we just realized we needed a blockchain to really like make this happen. And so that's when in 2018 we focused on Near protocol. But yeah, I mean, those pieces were always kind of part of the DNA here.
Yeah.
And
Arthur, man, I think people want to hear about Hyperliquid. That they want to hear about what the hell is going on with Hyperliquid. It's at 61.40 right now.
Okay, we don't really need to talk about Hyperliquid. That's another show, but it's definitely something we talked about on the Patreon before, and we've also talked about Hyperliquid in the on CoinVault. Okay, shout out to Crypto Futures. Shout out to Maximus Crypto. We talked about that on CoinVault. But here, it was really good to hear from Arthur Hayes, and it was really good to hear from Ilya as far as like what was going on in Near, and some of the things that he just said here was like the whole supply chain. He's wanting the whole supply chain. This is the CEO of Near, the whole supply chain and like all of logistics to kind of run on Near. So again, the world as we know it can quite change if they get what they're expecting there, with the agentic AI running the treasury, with robots running, all the manual labor jobs. Then a lot of people are going to lose their jobs, and hey, maybe UBI comes in and comes through. But shout out to these guys. But now, just to kind of let you guys know some of the things that are happening around Near right now. Near just had a staking ETP created by Bitwise. They had a deal in Bermuda, right? In which they're helping deploy AI's public services with the whole government of Bermuda. Shout out to URC Underdog Research Channel for putting Bermuda on my map here when we did our collaboration on my channel with Plume. Definitely you want to go through the channel here and take a look at that collaboration we did on Plume. It was a banger. Plume's another one that's looking like a pretty good value, but I digress. So let's continue here. So this is one of the things that we've seen. This is one of the reasons. These are many of the reasons we're seeing Near's value rise. Also here, Grayscale they came out and created a near trust. Okay, so they have a near trust going, and this is just going to continue with near. There's no reason to think that it's not going to continue as agentic AI continues to get more reach, as confidential AI is going to be necessary and needed. Again, here I brought this up last. Okay, so they got this going too. And one of the things that Ilya was talking about is the near marketplace, the agentic AI marketplace. And in that marketplace, they have it so agents can market to agents, humans can market to agents. So it's a really interesting marketplace where agents could just work all day long and have jobs proposed to them and continue to make money, right? So it's very, very interesting there. You can see here, these agents will not operate alone. They will interact with other agents inside of environments like near AI agent market, and coordinate work, complete tasks, and exchange values. In this model, humans provide context, judgment, and direction. Agents execute tasks and coordinate it with other agents. Payments happen natively between agents using stablecoins like USDC. So privacy is essential to making this all work. Just like Ilya was telling you there, it's essential to make everything work. And what Arthur Hayes kind of reiterated to us is, hey, look, Near's already diluted. Like, is all the tokens are out right now. So there's no worry about people dumping on you. All the tokens are out. And yeah, so great job, great work there from Arthur Hayes. And he was saying also that, hey, he thinks that Near can 20x from here. And it seems to be the synergistic thing that I'm going to look more into, where Near and Zcash are kind of tied at the hip, where people are using the confidentiality of Zcash and Near intents to trade Zcash in a private manner, okay, in which the transaction isn't traceable. Like, it's totally not traceable. So really, really interesting there. And let's see here. We're going to get into some of the comments before we continue on here. Let's see what we got in the comments today. What's up, David Barron? What's up, Silver Days? What's up, King Pound? What's up, Philly Love? What's up, Jetpack J.O.? The Black Ruby is in the building, my man.
My man.
Let's see here. Let's continue on. Yes, please, guys, like and share, subscribe, everyone. We're really close to 10K subs. As I can see, the subs keep picking up, and it's nice to see. We'll get to 10K in quite a bit of time here. Let's continue on. Shout out to my brother here, Underdog Research Channel. I was checking out his show yesterday. He was talking about Plume. Like I said, Plume is one that I definitely think is at a good buy now. We were talking about it in the Patreon as well. You need to know where to find URC's channel. Come over here, like and subscribe, and then mosey your way all the way down to the bottom. He's number one on my featured channels. Just go ahead and click here. And you can see he just did yesterday, and I was watching this, the Proceed Plume Network Conflict. So definitely go check that out, guys, if you haven't already. And definitely subscribe to URC channel if you guys have not already. All right. So let's get back here. What's up, Rise Above, Patreon member in the house? What's up, A-Train? Let's get it. What's up, WF Capital Management in the building? Let's give my guy WF. I'm leaving with something. All right.
Yeah. I see a big tray. I'm like, I'm leaving here with something. You know what I mean? I'm from around the way. I'm leaving with something.
Shout out to Denzel. He leaving with something over here. Let's continue on here, and definitely catch us tonight, guys, where we'll be live on the Coin Vault at 5:30 sharp, pretty much here. All right. Do they come in blonde hair? Well, you know what? Silver Days, they got a silver one, a black one, and I don't know what other color here with these Neos. I think that's what he was referencing. I thought it was kind of interesting that they just decided to make a black one too. So they got so they got this beige color, a gray, and a black. So interesting there. Let's continue here. Hey, a realistic YouTuber, thank you for your honest content and not hype. Appreciate it. Wow, really appreciate that. That's a great comment. Thank you so much, Miko Rod. Let's Square in the house. Another Patreon member in the house. Crew in New Jersey in the house. Let's go. Let's Square. Imagine walking into a restaurant bathroom and seeing one of those bots cleaning. Wild. Exactly right. But it can roll my joke. Wait a minute, King Pound. It can. Whoa, wait a minute, King Pound. Hey, maybe it can. It looks like it might have a dexterity over here. Rise Above. LOL. Silver Days. Dope. All I need is for him to get me more Zebec. Indeed. I drive this X1 code during work in Palo Alto, and the X is exactly like the XRP logo. Interesting. Thank you there, Mia is. Yeah, that's interesting. You know how we love symbolism on this channel. And shout out to us. We were doing our Symbolism Sundays, and we mentioned the symbolism of Venice, the Venetians or the Phoenicians. Okay. We got into that symbolism in the Lion of Judah, the Lion of Babylon, okay. Definitely check out the Patreon where you can get the Symbolism Sundays, okay. What up, fam? Let's go. What up, E? E's our moderator in our Telegram. Shout out to E. It doesn't take out the trash or wipe my. I think it can take out the trash, but I don't know if I want that thing anywhere close to my you know what I'm saying? Like nowhere near there, nowhere near my you know what I'm saying? Like I got that. We're cool. Unless it's the Megan Fox bot. And if it's the Megan Fox bot, well maybe we can see. Shout out to you guys who've seen that movie. Ocean View Coffee Shop. Let's go ZBCN. That's pretty easy. What's up, URC again? Crypto is for AI agents era. Indeed. And yeah, indeed. This is pretty involved. Yes, indeed. These bots are pretty involved. It's amazing that they have this much functionality already. But again, we were looking at it in the Patreon where they were talking about it possibly being a nanny. Like for any of you guys who are old enough to watch the Jetsons cartoon, the Jetsons had a robot maid which would watch their kids and clean up. This is kind of the first iteration of that. Talk about predictive programming. TV shows like Star Trek had like flat screens and things in it way before we actually got it as a public. So, well, here we are with the Rosie bot coming. What's up, Crypto Joe? What up? It's your boy Crypto Joe 3. What it do? Rue and the community. It's your boy Crypto 3. Let's go. Smash the likes, everybody. Let's go. Let's give Silver Days. It's all about the fries and the shake.
Soon I'll be on fries, then the grill. A year or two, I make assistant manager. And that's where the big bucks start rolling in.
That's when the big bucks start rolling in. Indeed. Indeed. Let's continue in our comments here. What's up, Crypto Dragon Emperor? What's up, brother Jack Thompson? Let's give brother Jack Thompson my man.
My man.
Indeed. Let's see here. AI agents on Base are already surpassing every network, I believe, in stablecoin transactions. And see, good comment there, Jetpack. And that is coming. That is already coming, right? Pause. That's already here. That's already here. Where is it here? You can kind of see it already here with we have it here with this stat, agentic payment settlement mix. Majority of it is on Base and Solana, and Base and Solana are like kind of like the same network now that they've done the bridging. Like, again, guys, we're about a good 2 years away from everything being changed as we know it as a people, right? Robots and agentic AI are going to take a lot of the jobs, and I don't know where people are going to be, or I don't know how things are going to work out, right? Because there's already kind of a job surplus since like they decided to target immigrants, right? And a lot of the immigrants were working certain jobs, like different like service jobs, different jobs like mechanic jobs and things like that. So now it'll come the robots, it'll come agentic AI for some of them, and they're going to take these jobs now, right? And down here where I live in Arizona, there's a high population of Latino population, but now since everything's happened with ICE, I've seen more like Indians, and when I say Indians, I mean like red dot. like from India type of Indians, right? But eventually even they will be replaced by these robots, and they will be replaced by agentic AI. It's only a matter of time. So as investors, how can we take advantage of that? Well, come on over to the Patreon. We'll let you know some stocks and some cryptos in which you can take advantage of that. Have you seen Epic Chain 0.22 total supply, or 0.22 total supply, 33 million, partners with Ripple and Brinks? What's up, Light Green Man? I have heard of Epic. We'll see. Let's see where it's at right now. I think you can buy Epic on Uphold. Let's break out CryptoRank.io. That is another kind of real world asset crypto that people might want to take a look at. Since Light Green Man mentioned it, we might as well just take a little peek at it. So I see like Light Green Man is a heavy in real world asset cryptocurrencies. Actually, this another good pick from you here, Light Green Man. Yes, they are partnered with Ripple. You can see here too some more people they're partnered with. Kinetic Capital, GBV. This is a great value right here where it's sitting. It's under 10 million market cap. Very, very low supply. This is something where it catches any type of wind. It's going, and it's going pretty fast, right? Because with this low supply, it's very easy to, if you want to say the word manipulate, you could use that word. But yeah, this was one where, and let me just make sure it's still on uphold. This is one where you could see the price just go pretty far if people just put anything in there, right? Let me see, just gonna double check, guys. That's available on uphold. Yep, it's available on uphold. I'm just gonna make sure I can buy it too. Yep, and it's available for purchase. I purchased some. So all-time high on this thing was what? Let's see here. $3.22 or $3.20. Pretty interesting number there, of course. And this is just basically the all-time low. This is basically the all-time low. So yeah, that's a great call. That's a great call there, Light Green Man. Another good one from you, brother. Thank you, URC. I couldn't. It was like my cord was shorting out. I might need to buy a new cord here. It's like a brand new cord. I don't even know how it's shorting out. How I can do that, bro. But I gotta buy another one to see. Basis X402 infrastructure is already exploding. Shows tokens like Banker and Banker's another one I've been looking at. Shout out to you on Jetpack on that. This basically allows you to talk or text finance prompts, making it easy for people to adapt wallets and do multiple tasks. Yep. 100 times faster. Shawnee Sean 6, my man. So yeah, another thing that they mentioned there, because I let it play for quite a while, I wanted to put some notes in the thing here. Near is doing buybacks on their own coin, so it's fully diluted. That's really good to know there from Near. And again, I don't see any reason, especially with them hooked up with NVIDIA, right? I don't see any reason why they can't just continue rising, right? This is the future, guys. This is the future. And Near seems to be uniquely positioned for that. And as we can see, other companies believe so too. Grayscale and also Bitwise, right? And Bitwise is doing a Near staking ETP. Okay, so they're looking to get more on their money by staking it. So shout out to the Patreon who got in with me at 117. Right? What's up, Rue Crew? Shout out to Kevin Garrett, another Rue Crew member in the Patreon in here. Let's go. I'm gonna have to get some Rue Crew theme music and play it every time a Rue Crew member is in here. Hopefully something that's not too copywritten. We'll figure out something here. Let's continue. You're here. What's up, Phantom Beat? Dave F. Jr., what's up, Rue? New Jersey is on the line. Let's go, Phantom Beat. Another New Jersey member in there. Let's Square and Phantom Beat. Zebec having HR payroll ran by agentic AI coupled with real-time pay and any stablecoin would make ZBCN the ultimate plug-in for any company to bridge itself ran on chain. I agree. I agree there. And I think Ilya even mentioned something about having privacy and payroll in that talk there. Again, my cord was kind of shorting out on me, but that's another reason why very high on Zebec for the future, because they've tied right into this, right? And all the stuff that they can do with instant payments and remittance payments, and the whole treasury flywheel. I think I want to bring that up here if we can bring that up. I mentioned that in a previous show, but Zebec just put out a kind of clear copy of Simon's speech from the XRP Las Vegas. Shout out to you patrons. You got it first. I put it out for you the day I was there. I put out Simon's speech for you guys to listen to. And we also, of course, have an exclusive interview where Simon dropped a bomb on the Patreon. Definitely go over to the Patreon for an exclusive Simon Babakani interview where he drops a bomb. I still have not seen him mention this bomb in any other interview. He hasn't mentioned it in Paul Barron. He hasn't mentioned it in the Zach Rector interview. So definitely come over to the Patreon. Less than a cup of coffee. It's worth it just for that interview alone. But let's see here. So here it is. They put out the whole conversation, and I wanted to bring up the Treasury flywheel for you guys because Simon mentioning that it all ties into this X402 thing as well, because treasuries, I believe, not a whole 100% of the treasury will be agentic AI. I don't know necessarily, but I do think there'll be some treasuries where they do 100% agentic AI, and that, okay, they have all of these things set up where they can go buy carbon credits, they can go do payroll, they can go make any advantageous moves in the market, in any type of market for the company, and do it in real time. Like, yeah, I really see treasuries adopting this. But let's listen to Simon here. I think this is probably where he says it here. So working with more fintechs. Didn't Donald Trump just sign an executive? Am I not sharing here? Okay, let me go back here. I thought I was playing it and you guys could see it. So Donald Trump did just sign an executive order for more fintechs to have the ability to move more freely, right? But let's play this again here because I thought I was on there with you guys, but here we go.
Just a matter of time, and we're very well positioned for that growth.
Yeah, what about RLUSD specifically? Because I think one of the interesting things that's been happening is everybody's becoming an issuer, right? So, like, what are some of the things that you're hoping to see over the next few years for the Ripple community more broadly, just in terms of projecting out, expanding into these institutional use cases, or this projection of the dollar?
Well, I mean, RLUSD is issued by a New York banking charter, backed by Ripple, which is of course supervised by the New York Department of Financial Services, backed one-to-one by cash and treasuries. It doesn't get more transparent than that. But I think what's most exciting for us is what I would call the treasury flywheel associated with RLUSD. If you look back a year ago, it was about a $200 million market cap stablecoin. Now it's eclipsed 1.5 billion. And as more of these treasuries come on chain and start participating in treasury management, custody, and eventually payroll through Zebec, there's a multiplier effect throughout the ecosystem. And that's how you're going to see RLUSD really take off and scale.
So again, as more treasuries come online, he says it's going to create like a flywheel effect. And that's when you're going to see Zebec really take off. You better believe, right? Not only for Clarity to come and for Zebec to be doing their real-time payroll with more and more companies, right, in the US, but also more and more companies can adopt G Treasury, Ripple's Treasury, and then Zebec can now come along with G Treasury, Ripple payments, and then the price of Zebec's token take off even more, right? So I'm very excited for the future of Zebec. These treasuries, along with all the other verticals they're in, it just made me very high for the token there. But let's continue. Jetpack, that thought came to my mind as well. AI payroll makes sense. And, I think Zebec is already working on it. I know Near is working on it as well. So in some aspects, Zebec and Near may be working on it together. But I know, let me pull this up, in which Near has someone they're doing some payroll with. Let me pull up the notice here. We're doing it live here. Doing it live. Shout out to Bill O'Reilly, right? Here we go. Almost there. Okay. Private payroll, private balances, private transactions. Trezor confidential treasuries bring on-chain privacy across 35 plus chains powered by Near, private sharding, and Near intents. New era of financial infra is confidential by default. Future multi-sig treasury. Then Trezor confidential treasuries are now live on Trezor. Routine treasury, payroll, and transactions are completely private off-chain. So could this be white labeled Zebec? Not sure. Can't say, but we got that right there. Of course, we know that Zebec is working with Ripple with their treasuries. So we shall see how all of this will play out. But of course, I'm high on both. What was he talking about, Blackrue, about the best way to hold Zcash? Can you talk about that? Well, that's the part I want to do some more research on. I know that Zcash and Near, like all of the traffic that we're seeing from Near right now, a lot of it is coming from Zcash. Like if we go pull up, let me duplicate this here. Some more Near topics. They show a lot of their revenue is coming from Zcash. So what they're doing, what they're moving, I can't say. But here again is the government of Bermuda thing, straight from Near. Government Bermuda is deploying AI-powered public services on Near's confidential inference infrastructure. Partnership launches with Near-powered AI assistant that keeps public servants' personal data confidential. And then they have the thread there. The thread. I've heard that this thread, the fact that they're putting this thread at the end of things is some type of esoteric thing, right? So note the thread there. Data is also doing it. Shout out to one of my coaching calls. We were talking about how Data was doing this with the thread. And it's interesting that Near was doing the same thing. So, this is why we had a Symbolism Sundays, right? Because these companies they be dropping these little hints, and you never pay attention to it, but it's there. We just relaunched our homepage, new tagline, new story. Here's the version we never quite told properly. Same thread, right? Here, we ran an experiment of Theta Edge Cloud to test a more efficient way to serve LLMs in production. Long prompts can slow down everyone sharing the same GPUs. We tested an architecture designed to keep latency throughput stable as prompt length and traffic increases. The thread. So very interesting there from Near and and Theta. And oh, by the way, Bermuda is one of the places you can have zero capital gains tax for cryptocurrencies, by the way. Okay. So another point there. But let me see here. trying to find it where they mentioned. Here, I'm going to go back to my bookmarks. Okay, here it is. Over 1.5 billion in Zcash volume has routed through near intent. So I don't know if this is something you can look into, brother, but it's crazy to see how much volume on near intents is coming from Zcash. Maybe this is them moving their money in a confidential way through these Bermudas and Switzerlands and the Gibraltars and Cayman Islands of the world. So it can't be tracked. Maybe this is them doing that. And by you guys know from Symbolism Sunday, when I mean them, I'm saying them as in the Venetians, the Phoenicians, those guys. Shout out to them. Mike Bennett, someone gots to lube the bots. I'm not lubing any bots in here, but that's a good question. What happens when Neo gets rusty and needs some lube? Pause. I don't know. That might be a task. I'm not handling that task. Somebody else will have to do that. Idaho 1 XRP, good to see you. WF Capital Management with the live there. Jarvis Agent Tron, salute. At Silver Days XRP is Yusuf L. Bay. What's up, Yusuf? What's going on, brother? Just been on my AI agent account. Good to see you. That's cool. You got your whole AI agent account. You're trying it out. That's awesome, man. Good to see you, brother. A Bay brother in the house here. Is there a Telegram link? There is. I think the Telegram link is in the chat there. In the description. Yep, I remember the Jetsons. So Rosie Bot in my house, brother, didn't like the cartoon. Shout out Shook Focus. What's up, brother? Shook Focus in the house. Let's go ahead. If you want to know where to find Shook Focus at, again, just mosey down to the bottom of my channel and you see the features channels. Shook's right there. Let's see what Shook has been looking at recently. Couple days ago, not too long ago, a video on Cubic, right? Shout out if you guys need to know some information on Cubic. Of course, we got some on Dovu here and as well XCN. Definitely go check out my brother Shook's content. Rooted Truth, hashtag Rooted Truth, my man.
My man.
Appreciate it, brother. Yeah, the Megan Fox, Ice Spice bots are going to be out very, very soon, right? Will be made in less than 5 years, no diseases and reduction in some crimes, but there'll also be a legal battle on moral conversation with this creation. Yeah, I mean, I already feel like there's a depopulation agenda, right? I think for better or worse, I think they want to lower the population. Like you can kind of tell, like men and women hate each other like they never have before. And so I think the depopulation agenda will kind of come with these bots for real. You can already see kind of Gen Z they're not, they're not socializing. They don't socialize like we used to. The millennials, the Gen Xers, they're not used to socializing. So these bots might be really good for them as far as like companions, Hey, Ru, do you know anything about the Wallenberg family? I know Wallenberg is a school in San Francisco. I've been doing some research on them, and I wondered if you had done some research on them as well. Well, I know they have a school in San Francisco, and of course, I'm not gonna say what people. I can't say that from the whole Kanye line, right? Yeah, I'll have to do some research on the Wallenbergs, but I know they have a school in San Francisco. Which wallet for Canton Coin? I know some people use the Loop wallet. I don't know, man. I feel like at this point, people might be welcoming that idea as opposed to it. Yeah, I know. I definitely know that, especially considering some folks in the elite class. Yikes. Well, elite class, like, like, not to get too far off topic, but the elite class, that's where everybody's gunning, right? Most of the women are gunning for the elite class. That's why it's like, that's why the birth weights are kind of lowered. Like, it's gone are the days where people would like get married, like 17, 18, 16, 18, like back in the day, I did my like family tree, my genealogy or whatever. Like, grandmas and grandpas were getting married. Like, those girls were like 16, 17, right? Now, God forbid they do that today. That's way too young to get married today. But back then, when it was an agrarian, like a farming type of society, and more people did manual labor, like that made a lot of sense. But right now, like, women are not getting married until 30s, maybe 40s, and that means they're going to have less children, right? So even if they want to get married, because now some women are saying that they don't want to, right? And it's more going the way that men want marriage more than women do nowadays. So it's really interesting, but it's all leading to a depopulation agenda. But the elite, they can just go pick whatever women they want, because most people want to be with them. Nobody has any money. Like, as much as it is today, most men can't afford to live. So that's the real kind of also scary part. Tokenization may be to the point where it's like you can only buy a fraction of a house. You can't afford a house. You can't afford it at all. So you will have to tokenize in order to own a piece of a house. But you own like a 5% or 15% of a house, and that's it. That's all you can afford, even with your partner or your spouse or whatever, right? Shout out to GDLT. Hey, Rue, let me make that Roku theme song. Hey, if you want to make something like that, like, yeah, that'd be cool. Just, you just have to let me know. And I've heard like different creators like have trouble where like somebody's giving them something free or whatever, but just let me know, and we can make that happen. You see what's going on with Plume, Rue? Well, I think that Plume's a pretty good buy where it is right now. I get all my Plume knowledge from Underdog here. I've yet to really take a look myself, but two researchers I definitely trust, Underdog and Shook Focus Digital. So Underdog's done a lot of research on Plume, and as far as real world assets, cryptos is pretty much it's way up there, especially at the price it's sitting at right now. My goodness, like, it's just like the best price would have been when it dipped under 1 cent, right? But sitting here at 0.0143, gotta believe it's a good deal right there, sitting right here, right? And I think one of the things that's special about Plume is it's the only SEC approved transfer agent, right? We also know it's connected with people like Securitize. If you go to the Securitize ecosystem, you see Plume there. Also, I think they're connected to Ondo as well. So there's a lot to like about it at this level. And also, they've distributed some more of their coins out. that was one of the things that kept me away from it a little bit originally, was that a lot of their supply wasn't out, but they're good. Yeah, they're almost 60% out right now. If we go take a look at that. So they're almost 60% out. That's pretty good for me, right? The next unlock is in 26 days. So I'm pretty happy with where it's at right now. I don't think it's going to go lower than where it was when it went and touched below 1 for a second, 1 cent. I think it's only up from here, right? So, not financial advice. That's just my opinion. What's your thoughts on Mantra sitting at 0.009? Let's see here. Let's take a look. Okay, this one, I've never looked into this. Okay, I have to take a look into this. I'm not sure of who they are and any of the team. So this will have to be one that I look into in the future. Okay, so on Cosmos, only thing right now is Cosmos. That whole ecosystem is not doing well at the moment. So anything from the Cosmos ecosystem at the moment right now is really suffering. Yeah, I don't know. Just the Cosmos ecosystem right now is not in a good place. But I'll have to take a further look at that in the future. That's where we're headed. When he mentions ZBCN, I'm like, okay, get another million coins. Indeed. John 3:16. Hi, Ru. Do you think ZBCN will hit 0.03 cents in 2 years? I definitely think that. Because one of the things that I appreciate, like that I keep hearing from Simon, is that over time the token will gain more value. He's acknowledging, like, and they've done a great job here with the new tokenomics to endow more value to the token. Whereas some other projects like XLR, in my honest opinion, don't sue me, XLR, just in my honest opinion, we saw the flight of part of their team. So it didn't seem like much value was in the token itself, which is why Circle just bought part of their team and left the token. Whereas with Zebec, they're actually putting value in the token. We saw people like Fireblocks go grab 250 million after Cybos. So clearly they had a plan to put more value into the token. So I'm liking what we're seeing there. I could definitely see it at 3 cents in 2 years or more, right? Again, global adoption was Zebec. The only question will be here, when will they allow it to, I assume once the Clarity Act hits, then we'll have streaming payroll. But again, like I said, with the whole everything changing in the next 2 years, we're going to need streaming payroll. People are not going to be able to afford to wait 2 weeks for their pay. They're just not going to be able to afford it. And then knowing people, like, we're heading for a gig economy with all jobs, okay? We're going to be gone are the days where people really have employees that work at a company for a long time. Like, they're just going to hire mercenaries, like quote unquote mercenaries, because AI will be doing most of the stuff, but you'll still need humans in the loop to kind of guide the AI. And they will just hire the best person at the cheapest price anywhere globally that they can hire them, right? And that's where we're headed, right? So, but those of us who are in Patreon, shout out to different Patreons, right? Shout out to the Root Crew. we'll be having passive income. And of course, we call passive income time income, active income in the Patreon, because passive income, sometimes people don't like the word passive, but the goal is to get that time income, that passive income, and live off of it. Okay. Because where we're heading is, they're just going to hire mercenaries for the lowest cost wherever they can hire them. So now imagine someone from India making like $10 an hour for an engineering job. And like, you know what I mean? Because they can live in India, $10 an hour is a lot of money. Or, the Philippines or Vietnam or some of these places where a little bit of American money goes very, very far. It's going to be, most people are going to be priced out. So this might be the last chance here for people to kind of make it. Like, it seems like every 25 years, there's a surge, there's a bubble, if you will. Like, there was the computer bubble, there was like, Microsoft and whatnot, Tesla, the years they did, Intel, Microsoft. This is the year for crypto, agentic AI, robotics. This is it, right? This is going to be the biggest opportunity people are going to have for the next 10 to 25 years. And we have the ability to hit it right now, right? Locate the winners like Near, like Zebec, invest, and put that in some passive income so you can sit back and retire and enjoy yourselves, right? Not financial advice, but that's what I'm doing. Put it that way. Are you a 4-cycle guy like Rob? My concern is we don't have an altcoin season. Like we don't have an altcoin season last cycle, so I assume it's over. Well, me and Rob differ on this, and it's not that we differ, but I guess we kind of do differ on this. But ultimately, we're kind of the same on it, because when he mentions what he mentions, he says, well, there's still a 30% chance that it could head this way. There's still, so he's more 30, 70, he's 70% 4-year cycle guy. I'm 70, 30. I'm more like set the 4-year cycle's over, right? And again, one of the things that I kind of emphasized it in the video with the Patreon people, which you are one of. Shout out to Marcus Garvey there, Patreon Root Crew in the house, in which I mentioned the video that we did on Canton yesterday, that whatever fireworks are going to happen on America's 250th birthday, I think that's going to be the beginning catalyst of us getting kind of completely out of this out of this kind of bear market. A lot of people like Blockchain Backer, definitely check him out. He does some good content. Have kind of said they think it's over. The bear cycle's over. We're about to head into the bullish times. Well, if the war in Iraq ends, which they keep saying conflicting things every day, but the kind of consensus is they've reached an agreement. Okay. Again, if we get clarity passed, they keep giving conflicting information about that, but the consensus is, okay, it's passed Senate. We can get it by July. Maybe by July is when we get that, which coincidentally kind of lines up with America's 250th birthday. Funny how that works, right? So if we get clarity, if we get the war in Iraq ending, then maybe this is over. But again, what I'm personally doing is I'm going to edge in a little bit, and I kind of feel like it's over. But again, I'm going to keep like 30% behind just in case it's not. Then I can buy at that lows. So yeah, I personally feel like it's over. Like we don't have lower to go. I really don't think we got lower to go. I don't think we get to the 55K Bitcoin. But again, this is just not me versus Rob thing. This is a kind of a risk thing, right? So if you're thinking we're not done, okay, then maybe you don't put as much in right now. But if you do think we're done, you're putting more in, right? Let's continue here. Shout out to GDLT, Green Giants. JJ hit on Thetas back in 2020 through 2021. Is that JJ or JI? I can't see it that well. But yeah, Theta, they got that yarn thing. I think they're symbolizing something with that. And it's interesting. Near has the same thing, that same little yarn thing, right? So that's interesting. So let's see what Theta's sitting at right now, actually. And another project, Theta, is where they're doing agentic AI, right? That's another one of those projects. Sitting at another really good value here at 19 cents, right? Oh my. But another sitting at a very good value. They have the GPUs. They can make agentic AI cheaper for universities and things like that. And they're doing that right now. They're hooked in with the rockets and different people there. A lot to like about Theta. They're also hooked up with a company called Ether. And Ether, they have their own data center. So Theta has like 22 patents involving AI and agentic AI and things like that. So virtually all the kind of patents, as far as like edge nodes and things like that, seem to belong to Theta, right? So I don't think that Theta gets left out in what happens with agentic AI, and with the things that they can do with the GPUs and edge nodes. I think they definitely make the cost of data or the cost of inference lower, right? So what's up, hey, Jose De La Torre? Goes back. Good call on Near. Appreciate it, brother. And yes, Zcash is private. So it's like doubly private with the Near intents and things like that. So very interesting there. Silver Day is giving Yusuf some love. If you can look at Coinbase X402, Near is one of their collaborators. So yeah, exactly. So Near was one of the collaborators on X402, as Jetpack was pointing out, and I pointed out as well, like many moons ago. But let me see if I can pick this up for you guys, because it's good to see that, right? So yeah, here it is. This, whatever this site is doing some talk about X402, and here's the X402 team. So I've seen some stuff from him, Eric Ripple. He's the Coinbase engineer that basically designed it. But guess who else helped? The founder of Near, okay, Ilya Polosukhin. Polosukhin. So there we go, right? So again, if we're looking at the founders and kind of the leaders in this space when it comes to X402, and knowing that X402 is up next, well, Coinbase, Near, others, right? Solana and others that we've been looking at in the Patreon, but we'll keep that Patreon focus. I forgot about Cubic. Yeah, Cubic's another one with the AI focus. Shout out to you, Silver Days, with the first super chat of the day. Zebec equals Rick James. What did the five fingers say to the face? Let's bring up the Rick James clip now.
What did the five fingers say to the face? What? Slap!
Unity. What did the five fingers say to the face? What? Darknesses. They should have never gave you money. Shout out to Dave Chappelle there with the Rick James skit. I love that, bro. Oh man. Fun times. Let's continue on here. It's so correct, Rue. Appreciate it, brother. Silver, my man. What's up, Stevie ZBCN? What's up, Rue? 40% of men between 20 to 30 spend more time inside than American prisoners. Dang, that's a depressing stat. And I believe it too. I believe it, Shawnee Son 6. Like back in the day, like I'm an older millennial. Like back in the day, we used to go play basketball. We used to be outside, bro. And you listen to some people that are like Gen Xers, right? They used to get kicked outside and they weren't allowed to come back until a certain time of day, right? So it's interesting. It's interesting. But again, when you look at that and you look at kind of like where certain women are, like people are not going to be able to afford it unless they kind of get together. But people hate each other to a point where they're not willing to get together. So I don't know, like that's definitely just going to lead to a depopulation agenda. Yes, I am investing in Canton, and we got that Canton video to the Patreon people. Shout out to the Patreon. I am high on Canton. I really am high on Canton. Yeah, y'all seen they introduced a robot that they said they want to put in schools. Yeah, I could see it. So teachers about to get replaced too. And I know they were talking too about AI, where they were saying agentic AI could teach the students and they'll teach it better than a teacher because a teacher might be biased and all of this stuff. And they were trying to, manipulate it and smooth it over like, oh, this will be better for the students because the teacher won't be biased and the AI will just, and to me, that's like, I'd rather than be taught by a teacher. But of course, we know the teachers do some indoctrination, but at the same time, there's a human element where the teacher will see like, oh man, that kid looks like he's not sleeping. Maybe we need to figure out what's going on at home. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this kid needs that kid needs this. Like, okay, this kid is kinesiology, you know what I mean? A kinetic type of learner. He doesn't learn from the book this way. Like good teachers will see stuff like that, know that they need to handle this X student different than they handle Y student or Z student. Good teachers can do that. And then of course, there's knowledge that's not in these teaching books, right? And a teacher could be a good teacher in that way that they teach them not only knowledge in the books, but the knowledge of life, right? So again, and that's going to further separate the haves from the have-nots because good teachers will be in good places with good, in the more affluent places, they will have the best teachers, whereas people in the poor areas will probably be taught by whatever's the cheapest, the agentic AI or Neo, the teacher bot. So, yeah, life be life, and life do be life out here. That one guy was up. Folks in the DR Congo gonna own fractions of Trump Tower. Yep. Does the chat think that ZBCN will hit 3 cents in 2 years? People are sleeping on Plume's ecosystem. Oh wow, okay. Start that jetpack. I'm going to double back and start accumulating Swift and SHX in a month or so. Just got to be patient till they come down to my buy zone. There we go. Root, if you have the time scrolling through Plume's ecosystem on them, yeah, let's do that right quick. I'll try to do it quick because it's coming up on time, almost 5:30, where we got to get on the coin vault. But let's see here. To bring up Plume and their ecosystem. All right, there we go. Okay, Plume's ecosystem. Alchemy Pay. Arbitrum. XLR, Economy, Big Cat. Bridge, which we know from Zebec. Celestia on the Cosmos network. Chainlink, of course. Okay, I'll have to do some digging over here. DIA. Okay, that's not the one I was thinking. Oh, yeah, it is. It is. This is like an Oracle on Stellar. Last time I looked at this was pretty cheap too. Eigenlayer. They're also starting to try to get into agentic AI. Yeah, I'll have to go through this list. This is a pretty fire list. Thank you for that, Jetpack. Hypernative. There we go. Okay, that's a pretty fire list. I'm going to have to go through there. Brought a nice chunk of Banker. My fingers are crossed. Indeed. Yes, Banker is another one we've been covering in the Patreon for sure. Yusuf says the floor for Plume will be 0.013. Hey, if it pulls back there, I'll be happy. I'll buy the whole way down. Yeah, that would be amazing. So let's see here. Cycles are over with regulation and tokenization. Retail cycles disappear and decoupling from Bitcoin begins. Law is the ultimate catalyst for institutional level money stabilization of crypto. Yeah, that's basically where I'm at with the two brothers. Star, that comment. Yeah, that the fact that the laws are changing, guys, and the laws are about to be kicking in, like for real, genius goes into full effect the beginning of 2027. So at the very least, right, if it doesn't happen here on fireworks time around the July area, August is a solar eclipse. Those tend to be good times for the market. The beginning of 2027 might be it. But if you're thinking that you're going to be able to hold all the way and you're going to have to wait until 2028, I don't know, man. But what's up, Benjamin Awaken? What's up, D Curry? Damn, you called the hell out of Near. Can't wait to see how well your others perform. Thank you, my brother, Benjamin Awaken, my man.
My man.
Just hold the utility gems and blue chips. Then the cycles won't matter in the long run. Indeed. What's up, Josh? You're a tree heavy hauling. Connect. So like some people learn like let me explain this really quickly. So some people learn like by moving. Those are usually the people in class that like never sit down. And it's like it's not that they're like a misbehaving, they can't learn by just sitting down. They have to be moving while they learn. And usually they just label these kids as like the problem kids, but really they're people that learn by doing. They have to be like either doing something or they have to be moving. And like good teachers have figured this out after a while. Kind of learned this and picked this up. My ex's mother was a good teacher. She was a really good teacher. Shout out to her. So some kids learn by moving. Some other kids need to see it. Like that's kind of me. I need to really kind of see it. That's why YouTube's really helpful for me. I got other kids that have to see it, and then other kids, they can read the book, and then by reading it they can understand it. Those are like the three main different types of learners. There might be other kind of like levels and hybrids in between there, but some learn by doing, some learn by seeing, others learn by reading, right? And that's just how it works. Appreciate that, Stevie. What's up, Tony S? What's up, JF or FMJ Crypto? I'll DCA Plume until $1. Dang. And then Shawnee Sean with the Miso Robotics. All right, guys, I got to get out of here. I know you usually read all the comments, but I want to grab some food before Coin Vault. So remember, we're going to go live at Coin Vault on the Coin Vault channel here at 5:30. Let me go show you guys a Coin Vault channel here. It's a channel with me, Max, and Crypto Future. Definitely come check it out here. And I'll put the Coin Vault link in the chat here. This is where we do most of the Metallicus content over here. And if you guys made it to the end, please, please, please put in the comments after the video is done. Put in the comments near, because near has been taking off. All right. And we'll be out of here, guys. See you about 30 minutes on the Coin Vault. We're out of here. Peace.